Ethan stared at his laptop screen, rubbing his tired eyes. It was late, well past midnight, but he wasn't anywhere near done with the report he'd promised to submit by morning. The only light in the room came from his screen, casting long shadows on the walls. He leaned back in his chair and opened his email, hoping for a distraction. The top of his inbox held a single, unread email with a strange subject line. Subject, URGENT, READIMMEDIATEL. The sender was listed as The Keeper. No address, no domain. Just The Keeper. Spam, Ethan muttered, hovering over the delete icon. But for some reason he hesitated. The cursor blinked and his finger hovered over the mouse. There was something about the email, an unexplainable pull. Against his better judgment, he clicked it open. The email contained just one sentence. Do not delete this message. Your life depends on it. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Nice try, he muttered, moving his mouse to the delete button again. Just as he clicked, the screen flickered, plunging the room into brief darkness. The overhead light buzzed faintly before dimming. Ethan froze, his hand still on the mouse. The laptop screen returned, brighter than before, and the email was back in his inbox, unread. What the hell? He clicked it again. The text had changed. I warned you, do not delete this message. Acknowledge receipt by replying. His stomach churned. It felt too specific to be a prank, but too ridiculous to take seriously. He opened his window, letting the cold night air wash over him as he paced the room. The faint rustle of leaves outside calmed him, but not enough to stop his hands from trembling as he typed out a reply. Who are you? The response arrived instantly. I am the Keeper. I'm here to protect you, but only if you listen. Do not ignore me again. Ethan shook his head. This had to be some kind of joke. He grabbed his phone to call Jenna, his best friend and the only person awake this late. The phone rang once, twice. On the third ring, Jenna picked up. Hey, Ethan, she said groggily. What's up? I think someone's messing with me, he said, his voice shaking. I got this email. It's creepy as hell, and my screen keeps glitching. Before he could finish, the line crackled. Ethan, Jenna's voice came back, distorted. You shouldn't have... Static drowned her out. Then a new voice whispered through the phone, soft but chilling. They're watching you. Ethan dropped the phone, his chest tightening. He grabbed it again, but the screen had gone black. The laptop chimed. A new email had arrived. Do not call anyone again. They can't help you. His breathing grew shallow as the room seemed to close in around him. A faint tapping noise broke through the silence. Tap, tap, tap. Ethan turned toward the window. The curtains swayed gently in the breeze, but the tapping wasn't coming from there. Tap, tap, tap. It was coming from the front door. Do not look outside. Ethan stayed frozen in place, his heart pounding. His laptop chimed again. Another email appeared. Do not look outside. It's safer if you don't know. He tried to steady his hands, typing back a response. What's going on? The reply came within seconds. You've been chosen. There are rules. Break them, and you'll see them. Tap, tap, tap. The knocking grew louder, more deliberate. He glanced toward the door, his body trembling. Who's there? He shouted. The knocking stopped. Silence hung in the air, thick and suffocating. Then a whisper, faint, but close enough to make Ethan's skin crawl. Look out the window, Ethan. It wasn't his voice. It wasn't coming from the door. It was inside the room. Ethan's head snapped toward the window. There, in the reflection of the glass, he saw movement, something shifting in the shadows behind him. He spun around, but the room was empty. The laptop chimed again. You broke the rules. Now they're coming. The lights in the room flickered wildly before going out completely. The tapping started again, this time more frantic. Tap, tap, tap. It wasn't just the door, it was the window, the walls, the ceiling. The tapping became pounding, as if dozens of fists were slamming against the walls, trying to break through. Ethan covered his ears, his mind swirling into panic. The laptop screen was the only light left in the room, glowing with a new message. Run. The door opens. Ethan didn't think. He bolted for the door, yanking it open without hesitation. Outside, the street was unnaturally quiet. No cars, no wind, just stillness. He turned to run, but froze when he saw them. Figures, shadowy and tall, stood motionless at the edge of his yard. Their faces were featureless voids, but he could feel their gaze, cold, invasive, and relentless. The laptop chimed again, though it was impossible to hear over the pounding in his ears. The email read, "You looked. Now you're theirs." One of the figures stepped forward, its head tilting unnaturally as it studied him. Ethan turned and ran into the night, but the shadows followed. The next morning, Jenna arrived at Ethan's house confused and worried. His call had been strange, and when she tried calling back, he hadn't answered. The front door was ajar. "Ethan," she called, stepping inside. The air was stale, the house eerily quiet. On the desk sat his laptop, its screen glowing faintly in the dim light. Jenna approached it, frowning. An email was open on the screen, addressed to her. Subject, urgent, read immediately. Her heart skipped as she read the message. "Do not delete this message. Your life depends on it." Behind her, the door creaked.